comes from a biography of Longfellow called The Quiet Radical. And I also think of the phrase soft power when I learn more and more about Samuel's life. So I have two readings that sort of emphasize two important principles of Longfellow's life and ministry and the people he was around. One is social justice. This is a reading from a letter he wrote to his dear friend Samuel Johnson in the 1840s. They were both deeply enmeshed in the abolitionist movement, which is a very intense movement that obviously had people losing their lives every single day. This first section is Longfellow reflecting that he had been to a section of Maryland where people in the community had a lot of ambivalence. Those who were against slavery seemed to talk of it as an inconvenience and something that hurt the economy. And he told his friend Samuel Johnson that the problem was they never got to the crux of the moral issue at hand, and that it was the job perhaps of the northern abolitionists, because they had refined and were more prophetic in the argument that we have to stop doing this because we're human beings. This is a section of the letter where he went out to do this in the Washington, D.C. area where he knew the audience was ambivalent. I went into church, this is 1844. I went into church taking the sermon called Repent, the Cry of the Prophet, from the book of Isaiah. What I said about slavery was very calm, only urging that if they say this thing to be an evil, as they profess, they ought not be indifferent or to acquiesce in it, nor to be content with deploring it, but in earnest to do something, or begin to do something to remove it. The way of duty was clear, that God would give unexpected help in the way of right, and that the difficulties would vanish before faith and sincere purpose. That each should do what he could, feel, speak, plan, or execute as God had given power. This is what I said, encouraging rather than denouncing. This next reading highlights the tremendous importance of connecting with the beauty of nature, not only for aesthetic, but also spiritual reasons. And the man led an amazing life. So this is a section of his life where he was a tutor to a wealthy American family that was set up and doing business in the Azores, a set of islands off of Portugal. Last Monday, we set off on a picnic on a 3-mile walk to the setting. Where we went is a famous place covering 2 sides of a hill, a perfect wilderness of trees and a labyrinth of winding steep walks, bordered with roses, full of grottos and jutting rocks, clambering over vines. When we rose to the top, there's a fine view there of sea and distant islands on the one hand. I wandered away by myself to the other, where I came to a little cave on the side of a hill, the shade of whose rocky roof hung with vines and ferns, inviting me to enter. The soft wind came tempered from the sea. Before the entrance was a light arbor of ivy, and through its arched front, as in a frame, I saw the picture of the treetops and the undulating hills, patched with varied green, beyond the ocean meeting with the sky.